Yeah, I felt very patriotic yesterday, Ox. The Queen definitely can organise a display, that's for sure. It was absolutely amazing to see. Great to hear the Scottish bagpipes at the start as well. It shows that she's got a love for us. And what I say is the whole patriotic British theme on show was just absolutely amazing, and a perfect send-off for her, Ox.
Yeah. The numbers watching it, Bridge, have been remarkable.
Yeah. I think if you added the whole thing up for the 8 days that she was lying in state and was people were able to see her, you must be way over maybe 2 million people seen her lining the streets, and they're just fabulous. It was wonderful, by the wonderful television. Must admit that, and well done to the TV companies for the way they've done it. Super. I thought it was superb, and just as Gary says, it's just one of these things that I'm glad I saw it. Whenever they interviewed people to say why you in this queue type thing, they said everything, same for everybody where I wanted to be there. Just wonderful, just wonderful. Great occasion.
Yeah, sad occasion, but a great occasion. I understand what you're saying. Okay, but the world keeps turning, and we had a match on Saturday. It was not a classic, GB.
No, Ox, but do you know, funny enough, when I seen the team lineup, I was actually thinking it was going to be a classic, because we've been crying out for the young boys to get a wee run in the team, and having McCann in the midfield did excite me for the game, Ox, but unfortunately, it just came away as a win attitude for me.
I hear. No, well, it's simple, Bridge. We won all our games through to the end of the season. We won the league.
Well, very philosophical. That's absolutely spot on. I think they showed themselves up. I think their manager tried to do some weird and wonderful things, and it just never came off. The whole thing backfired on him. But I have to say, I think the presser. We only beat Dundee United 2-1. If you follow me, that's the attitude of the press, and they're hounding Rangers for it, and it's continuous.
Listen, Bridge, I'm not interested in the press. I'm interested in your support.
Oh yes, absolutely. But
our support are saying we never played well, and let's be honest.
I thought we did well. We scored 2-0. Once we got two up, we thought we were going to cruise it. But my goodness gracious, did we get a fright?
I think we played well for the first 20 minutes and should have been out of sight, GB. And after that, we huffed and puffed. Last call for GB. This live radio is not going to work. That's the answer.
Sorry, mate. The last when the goal went in 8 minutes, Ox, I thought we were just going to kick on. Tav was looking the Tav that we know.
Still no fit, mate. Still no fit. Never crossed the ball. Never. That was his only run in the game. He's not going and taking set pieces. He's not playing at any pace. He's not fit. I don't care what anybody says. He's not 100% fit.
No, he's not. And but like I says, I can understand why the manager's playing him, because again, it's another important game and he's got to kind of see the result out. But like you say, Ox, after that kind of goal, nothing really happened, and we went into the end of the first half only a goal up, which was pretty disappointing considering he'd set us up to be quite an attacking team that on Saturday.
We started the game very well. The boy McCann showed nice touches, still looks like a boy, Bridge, man. Arfield and Kent have got to score. I mean, they've got to score at the start of the game, haven't they? Make it 2-0.
Yeah, just shocking.
Yeah, well, but that was before we scored, actually. So they put the game to bed, yeah?
Yeah, they were just some seriously bad misses. And you know what I thought when I saw the Arfield one in particular? It looked as if he got his studs caught up on the pitch. To me, that's what it looked like, wasn't it? Maybe I don't know, but it looked like it anyway. It looked like that to me. I just don't know. But shocking misses. Absolutely shocking.
Young Ryan Kent, he's not so young Ryan Kent, GB anymore. He's a boy that looks void of confidence to me. Now, if he's playing to instruction when he's hugging the touchline, Borner's got nowhere to go, mate. Nowhere to go when he comes forward to the ball. Ryan gets marked very easily with the defence. Also, when they mark Ryan stuff out Borner's runs, there's got to be more movement, and that's where our problem comes with. We're static, GB.
You've said it, Ox. The problem is there's no movement, especially Jack. It just seems, I don't know, he's just running about as if he's got a caravan behind him. It's for some reason he's not aware.
Ryan Jack?
Ryan Jack, aye.
On Saturday for the first half an hour, he was the best football player in the park, mate. Winning tackles, moving the ball on.
Aye, playing well enough, Ox, but just like you said there, though, no the player. He just, for some reason, he's came back for this injury, and he's just no fun. The form that we know he can get to, and I don't know if that's just because he needs more game time or whatever, but
maybe.
But it's there, Ox. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's like you said, he's running any tackles. He is putting in a shift, but
I think you get your Ryans mixed up. It was Ryan Kent I was saying was void of confidence, mate. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were right to say Ryan Jack. Ryan Kent, the chances and stuff like that he's got for a winger, Ox, it's bad numbers. He's always checking back, he just not want to run in and hit the shot. I'd rather see Ryan Jack hit 20 shots outside the box. Ryan Kent hit 20 shots outside the box, and none of them go in. But at least he's trying. If you know what I mean. But see this running into folk and then checking back and trying to find somebody else to do the job. He's never going to get there, Hawks, and I just don't know what it is. I don't know why he started the season like this, because he's got plenty of creativity around about him, and hopefully Lawrence coming back might give him that kind of space that he's needing. I don't know.
I don't know how close they get. Bridgman, I'm giving him the benefit of doubt here. I just think he's a boy that looks as if he's low in confidence.
I think the pressure's telling on him. It's been constant pressure, isn't it? The tail end of last season, final with the UEFA League, Europa League, and it's just carried on right through there. I don't know what he did with his close season, but it's just carried straight on. And Champions League playoffs, it's there, and it looks as if he's not reacting positively, shall I say, to the pressure. So I do have you've heard me before, I have a great deal of sympathy with him, because he gets kicked up and down the pitch, and that's for sure. Sometimes the referees do not protect him at all, and it's a sin that way, and that goes for a couple of Rangers players. But seriously, yes, I agree with you. Lack of confidence or falling apart confidence, call it what you like, it just isn't there at the moment, and it has to come back.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because he's definitely got ability, let's be honest about it, GB. The boy's got ability, but maybe, hopefully, the 2-week break will do him good and he comes back refreshed. And I think he needs a goal, a good goal, maybe even a tap-in, just to set him on his way. And that was the thing on Saturday. He had that chance. I think it was the second minute. I think it was as early as that, GB. And that would have set him off.
And it's only going to take that. They say that about strikers, Ox. As soon as they get, when they're hitting a barn spell, as soon as they get that one goal back, it seems to kickstart them again. And I think that's Ryan Kent or isn't it? There's been seasons where he's been scoring and it's easy for him. But I mean, the boy we've seen in that Dortmund game, don't know where he's went to after that. It's whether the setup, I don't know, Ox, it could be the setup's not right for him, but there's something about every time he's running forward with the ball that he's no way to take on that player anymore. And yet, see, when he first arrived at Ibrox, he was always taking on a guy. That was the whole reason his song came about, was Kent will tear you apart. But Kent's not tearing anybody apart in the last season and a bit. So it's a concern, because you don't want his career to fizzle out like that. You want to get him back to his best, and like you say, it's maybe the wee spring step.
I think he'd been a wee bit harsh, man. Season and a bit. I think he's not hit the heights, but he's had some decent games at certain times, mate.
He's played well, Ox, but he's not scored a lot.
No, his numbers are poor. Poor. But this season, mate, I think he just looks a boy void of confidence. Bridgman, you're an old experienced head, unlike me and Gary, young boys. How would you solve that?
Oh, that's shocking, yeah. I don't know how I would solve it. I have to be very honest with you. Look, there's some folk in the past would have taken Ryan Kent and just dropped him.
Mm-hmm. Would you do that? Would you do that?
Yeah, I would certainly consider that now. Or maybe say to him, look, if you don't start showing as your form, we're going to have to rest you. Some managers are a bit more abrupt than that, and would most assuredly just say, right, you're not playing, and don't tell him anything, just say you're not in the squad even, which may cause eruptions. But I don't know what it is with the guy, and I feel really sorry for him, and I dare say every Rangers fan does to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, we've got a league to win. Let's put it that way. Yeah. We've got a league to win, and we need to do it. Whether we'll get Ryan Kent fit or not, we need to do it. So he can be left in the subs bench for a wee while and lick his wounds, see how it goes on.
Listen, you win and lose in a team. I'm only giving my thoughts. I think he's low in confidence. GB, what would you do? Would you keep him in the team, or would you drop Ryan Jack for him?
drop all the Ryans for me. Ryan Kent, I think where he's lucky, Ox, is that there's not a lot of competition now. Most of the guys in that side are not in form, and obviously probably fashion to a certain extent, it's not even getting his chance. So he's probably got nothing to worry about in the sense of getting dropped. But I mean, if I could drop him, Ox, I would. Just to maybe give that kind of shot across the bows, you know what I mean? It's but it's one of the games you keep a guy playing, eventually it'll come, and hopefully he'll get that one goal, it'll kick-start the season for him.
Right. I mean, let's go through the team. I didn't think there was many players who the 90 minutes covered herself in glory, if I'm being honest, Bridge. Apart from Cholak, two chances, 2 goals.
Yeah, but some of them I thought played okay. I thought Borna did no bad, but there seems to be times in the game when he gets a wee bit lost, and there's a big mix-up round about the defensive area. I thought McGregor was startling at times during the game, but really, Cholak was getting the 2 goals was just amazing for him, just amazing, considering the way the rest of the team were playing. It's brilliant, to be honest.
On McGregor, GB. If John McLaughlin would have been in goal, would he get a wee bit of stick for the goal? Seemed to get through him a wee bit.
Aye, and it would have probably added to the pressure in McLaughlin, Ox. You could maybe put it down to Allen being a bit rusty. But to be honest, for me, Ox, I was kind of glad he was back in the team, because that series kind of last 10 minutes, it was good to have him in the goal, because I kind of felt as though he was going to see us out the game. He's always got that voice on him that's screaming at the defence, that hopefully we'll always see his other line. I mean, everybody was open to criticism at the weekend, Ox. It wasn't, like you say, it wasn't a fantastic game to watch, but a win's a win.
Here, mate. I don't know. We just get. I'll give you my take on it, and you can maybe see what your take on it is. I don't think he made. I can't remember him making too many misplaced passes. But John Lundstrom, I think, touches the ball too much, Bridgeman, and he slows the game down. Nice pass in the ball and comes out. I think if we were playing him that deep, the way he plays next to the centre half, you might as well play him as a centre half and then play another midfield there, so you get more players in the forward area of the pitch. I don't know what your thoughts on it, Bridge. I'm not blaming him.
Right.
I'm maybe blaming the tactics, yeah?
I think the tactics it will be, I think when you've got a defensive midfielder, and he's actually sitting in the back line, there isn't very many places he can go when he gets the ball. So whatever he does with it, he's going to try and make sure he gets it right. But as soon as they started pressing, and you could see Lundstrom possibly even getting caught with the ball, but managed to get away with it. And obviously that's where the bad passing comes in. The poor passing, should have said, not bad, but the poor passing, all the pressure on it, and so on and so forth. So I think they played Lundstrom tight a wee bit, but it shouldn't be. You're right. If you're going to play him at the back, just play him at the back and be done with it, and play 5 across the back, or go 3-5-2, or whatever it is you need to do.
I don't think in that game we could just play him as the other centre half, mate, and play. We just play the
Agreed.
Ox, that was the thing. Why are we so cagey? And it's a home game. I mean, and then this is the bottom of the league we're playing.
Well, we started. Let's be honest, GB. In the first half an hour, we could have been sitting 4-0 up. And the problem is we're not taking our chances. If you take Cholak's goals away in the league, mate, we've got an issue, yeah?
A big issue, mate. And that's what I'm saying. He's about the only guy on form. And yet, what's it going to be like if we get a full team on form with him up front? I mean, that guy will be banging in even more goals. It's a shame because we've got probably him and Border. I mean, Border's one that's took a bit of flack, but he's showing a bit of form. And it's kind of that way. Sod's law when this team gets back to he'll end up dropping in form. It's a funny time for the team, but hopefully, by the way the results went at the weekend, it might just give that bit of confidence back to the team, and maybe that's what's been lacking a wee bit, Ox. Maybe a bit of belief.
I mean, you've had a couple of skeletons in that one. I mean, in different circumstances, you need to get wins and start grinding them out. All right, if it's all right with you, gentlemen, we'll get these phone lines open and see what people have got to say.
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
It wasn't vintage, Bridgeman. It wasn't vintage, but we got the points. I don't think after we scored the goal, we didn't really never created much. We huffed and puffed with it then. And you rightly said, Bridge, we ended up hanging on a wee bit.
Oh yes, I would suggest the last 10 minutes was absolutely dreadful for the fans. The last 20 minutes was bad. The last 10 minutes, oh my goodness gracious! Because as the game got on, and we knew the fans at a fan level, you just knew we weren't going to do anything. Even though we tried, we huffed and we puffed, but they saw that and they pressed up further and further. And the higher and further they pressed, the more difficult it was for us, and the more nervous we became. You could see the players, and then you could see, for instance, when they got a free kick, throw in, corner, the nerves must be rattling all the way through the team. However, I do commend them for not doing the zonal marking, because I thought that made a big difference to the way they defended. And so we defended some of the crosses very well.
We changed that on Wednesday night, GB. So, as the manager admitted, or the coaching staff admitted, that's something else they get wrong, eh?
Aye, Ox. I mean, you can only... Like I said, we've been critiquing it for a while now about the zonal marking, and it just wasn't working, conceding goals. But funny enough, we still conceded a goal at the weekend. But thankfully, it's not down to the problems of the set pieces, and let's see what Bridge touched on there, that we did look a bit.
The goal came about because of the inexperience of Leon King, mate. He get dragged across the pitch, caught out, gets spun. The boy ran across the box and he was out of position. The boy was left, Borna was left with a 2-on-1. It came from a glaring error, as Bridgeman will tell you, for Leon King.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he'll learn for it.
Aye. But
I thought he was unlucky. Oh, do apologise for interrupting. Sorry.
No, Bridge, I've just got to add to the kind of zonal thing. It is good that that's kind of been knocked in its head, because I think, like I says, overall as a team, we're far better without doing that. I mean, like I says, the defence did look a bit more solider in that department.
And you come, Bridge.
I was going to say, I thought that Leon King, there was a number of obvious defensive errors that could have cost us goals, but that one did eventually. And it's a sin that we're making, anywhere because players are in a position to make these type of, and it's continuous, isn't it? It's like a steady stream of bad mistakes that give the opposition a marvellous opportunity to get a shot at goal, or even get a nice cross in or something. And Tavernier is getting worse at it as well. So we seem to be doing it quite regularly. I'm not going to blame young King too much, because it has happened to more experienced players.
Aye, he get caught, mate. He get caught too tight. The boy Turner, he get caught chasing the player, chasing the ball. Yeah, however you want to put it, mate. And he'll learn from it, Bridge.
Yeah, that'll be with that game and Sunday. He'll learn an awful lot from that. And some of the other players that came on, they came on flat-footed, in my opinion, near the end, and just couldn't get into it. And then when they did get into it, they showed how good players they are. and you wonder why on earth these guys were on for the start. All these things go through your head, and you say,
I must have missed that, if I'm being honest.
No, I thought Tillman came on and he lost a couple of balls, couldn't control it, and so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden it clicked for him, and he started controlling the ball a bit better. But so he's only on a few minutes, so I'm not going to see the best of him.
All right. Aye, well, there was a lot of things. There's a lot of things. We're just, I don't know, confidence, the message, the no buying in. I don't know. It just doesn't seem quite right at the moment, GB, does it?
No, there's, especially I think the eyebrows would have been raised with the team lineup, Ox, especially putting King and McCann in. We've got a lot of experienced players there, and it was a bit of a shock. But maybe the manager's trying to send us a message with these kind of squads, especially like for the Wednesday and the Saturday. Ox, it's been two kind of eyebrow raisers with the squad that's been getting named, and that to me tells me there's something wrong, because I honestly can't understand you, because he called on a team, he used all these new signings, and then the next minute he's reverted back to two unfamiliar teams, sorry.
All right, okay. We've been joined by one of life's gentlemen. That makes a change for you too. We've been joined by Alex. Wish you evening, Alex.
Good evening, Alex here.
Oh no.
How's everybody doing?
How you doing, Alex?
Hi, Alex. Fellow Lanarkshire person.
We'll not had that against you both, you know. What's yours, Alex? What's yours, mate?
Firstly, what do you call it? Absolute outstanding respect for the late Majesty, our funeral yesterday. First class to everybody. United Kingdom and worldwide. That's what you call respect. And I love this tribute. I'll go into the football now.
Do we have to?
Well, that's it. I'm going to be quite blunt about it. It was absolutely woeful. It was woeful.
You're spot on, mate. We started okay, first 20 minutes. I thought everybody
first 20.
Yeah, but after that, mate.
That's the thing. We scored a quick goal and we just can't capitalise on it to score a few more goals. And the next thing we're all disjointed, not organised, and it was absolutely atrocious. It was, and we can sugarcoat it any way we want, but it was really, really poor. And in fact, at the end of that, with 25 minutes to go, the fans that was going out in good numbers. I never stayed because there was always a chance of Dundee United getting an equaliser. That's how bad it was. This team scored 2 goals, and yet they had went through the Rangers' defence if they weren't there. I thought the tactics, I was quite glad to see young Liam King getting a game, and Charlie McCann. Okay, young Charlie missed 2 or 3 chances, but you can go up with the young boys. But for some of the rest of them, if you take Bonner out again, Ryan Jack is probably our best player, and they substitute him. Lundstrom played quite well, Bonner and Kovacs. That was it. The rest. And Ryan Kent, I don't know what's happened to that boy at all. I really do not know. And I think
Am I being kind, Alex, putting it down to confidence?
I don't. See, everybody knows the potential and what this guy can do. He doesn't even look half the player. His body language as well. I don't know. I think he needs to be took out of the team, to be quite truthful. I know he's got a year's contract in January. He's free to talk to other teams, but to me, by the way, he really needs to take out here. And I would play, would you call it, Vidfan? I would play him further up in front of Bonner and have a go there and see if it can change anything. Because we need some change, and we're lucky to come out there with a victory. And I'm not really bothered about the game on Sunday. I know that was a Brucey bonus them winning, but we've got enough problems of our own without bothering about the other side of the city, the New Yorkshire.
I think the thing is that you're right. There's something no right. I don't know if it's confidence in our team, the manager's not getting his message across, lack of options, personnel. There's an issue with the recruitment, and I'm sure we'll talk in this week because we got international break about the John Bennett interview. And yeah, our trading model might just be starting, but wow, when you look at what's happened and the number of players we've signed and how many are in the first team, it's poor, Alex, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing. I listened to John Ben interview today, and that, and he's trying to be positive, but I spin in it. But for the two good players, he's talking about Calvin Bassey and Nathan Patterson. There are about 20 other players, by the way, and never come up to the mark. What I will say is, this is the first time I've come out the game and went into a supporters bus, and the fans were so down, and they're really, what do you call it? You could feel a backlash coming on there, because they're not producing nothing. And anybody went to that game on Saturday, I'll tell you, that was unacceptable. It was unacceptable, to be quite truthful. That's a team we should be really taking goals off. Make no mistake about it.
Alex, they're woeful, eh? It should have been 4-0 up in 20 minutes, and it could have went on and been anything you liked.
That's the thing, Oxia. We get after a great goal, and the next thing you're like, Scott Arfield missed a chance in that, but you could go through them all. Basically, then what happens is they start making their own passes, and it's either short or it's too long, and you can see the body language. I'm going to tell you, see at half time when the players came out, I watched Morelos at half time, and that's another thing. Can't understand today if I brought Morelos on either, right, after playing against Napoli. But I watched Morelos there. He was running about with his hands in his pockets. And this is him at half time coming out to kick the ball about, and you're thinking, for God's sake, get a hold of the ball, all of yous, and start making quick passes and let the fans know you're wanting to get into the team. It was absolutely the opposite. I don't know. I'm hearing about the manager and that. I stick by the manager. I'm getting it. I know our folk here, by the way, want him out the door. I've never said anything about the wanting to get out the door. I'm even on about what do you call it, getting his own players in. But when you listen to John Bennett's interview today, that doesn't seem to be the case either. He seems to think this is a plan, it's a 5-year plan. This is us. We're only 7 games into the season here. We went for a European final 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and this is what we're coming to watch on a Saturday. It's mind-blowing now. It's really mind-blowing.
Again, and it's no results. Listen, we had a bad result. The performance at their place was totally unacceptable. The European ones, we might not like it, but we can put it down to a step up in class, Alex, yeah. But we've not kicked a ball this season. Let's be honest, we were huffed and puffed against Queen of the South. That's
correct. And the Napoli game, to be quite full, we've covered it before the sending off. It looked not too bad because we're competing. I mean, that's us competing at another level. Let's be quite truthful. We did against a Dundee United team here. Honest, God, man, they hadn't a clue what they were doing at the beginning. And yet we just can't put them with the sword. And it'll be the same. I don't know what's going to be happening in ground. I'm hearing all this. The people's not buying in to what he's saying and that, but we need some better than this, Oxford. Honestly, it really is. Because I say before, that's the first time I've heard the rumblings with the fans, and it really was quite bad coming out. Some guy just walked out the stadium. Now you're winning 2-1. By the way, and the next thing you get 2 corners in the last 2 minutes. Honest, it could have been more all over the back there. We're just no finishing teams. And the players need to have a good look at themselves by the way when they put that jersey on. Because one thing about it, we're not that stupid, but you've got to get in there and give something to shout about and at least put everything in the line for the team. And it doesn't seem to be happening now.
Is it the tactics, Alex?
Oh, I don't know. You mentioned that John Lundstram was probably playing centre half. I just don't get it, what they're trying to do. They brought Scott right on, man. Honestly, God, man. He's trying to win as a game, and I'm trying no single players out here. You guys are not going to do it, man. Honestly. But Big Cole has got 2 chances of going to score 2 goals. That proves that the boy, when he gets a proper service, he'll put the ball in the net. It's good to see McGregor done okay. Saying that the goal, the way they lost the goal, that team just picked the ball up and right through us, played it right across the 18-yard box and the ball's in the net. So I've just I'm going in there, and folk keep saying, what do you think about how we got? I give me hope now, if that's what we've got. And I wouldn't be too sure about mocking the team for the other side of the city now, because we've got problems in it, by the way. And we're first against Tynecastle on the 1st of October. And that could be, that's not get me higher.
Bridgeman.
Yeah, Alex is absolutely spot on. It's a worry as we go forward, we step forward to now. League-wise, positional, we're sitting 2 points behind, which is good as we would get because we gave the 2 points away before. I think that the team play, the way the team are playing, they're all lacking that little zip, big zip, call it what you like. But we really need to get that back. They need to do something to get it back, and I don't know what it is. But maybe the manager's got a couple of weeks with most of these players. I don't know any. We've not got a lot of players on international duty, I don't think, because they're all injured. So that's really tough on the manager at the moment. I, like Alex, agree 100%. I wouldn't blame the manager at all for this. I think the players that are on the park are either going to be good enough or they're not. And the manager needs to be really stubborn and strict and pick only the ones he wants to pick. He's maybe been a bit soft in playing players. But people will ask the question. For instance, we spoke about it earlier on. How come Arfield never scored that goal? 1 or 2 chances. Why did he not score one of them? And good chances as well. Kent, same. Good chances, missed them. Even Colak himself missed a good chance. However, he scored 2 goals. You can't complain about him. So we got a lot. The manager's got a lot to do. I would not criticise the manager too much on it. He could be criticised for some of his tactics.
I would have a go with his tactics and his personnel. Yeah. I'll be honest.
Yeah, but I think it's a general thing with the manager. Some folk are really upset because things aren't happening the way they expect them to happen. Everybody's right. We should have given them an absolute doing in the first half hour. We could easily have been 4 or 5 up in the first half hour, and that would have been that game gone, and you could forget all about it, and they would never have come back. They got their tails up. Around about the time we brought our substitutes on, and they got their tails up. And my goodness gracious.
Can you understand the substitutions neither, if I'm being honest?
Oh, wow. Alex is right, that young lad, excuse the pun, that young lad, right. Oh, my goodness gracious. It's going to take him maybe 10 or 15 minutes in any game to get up to speed. He's just so indecisive, It's really bad.
GB.
He's described the game exactly how everybody else probably sees it, Ox. I think it was 6 shots in target at the weekend there. It pulls into question the manager, again with tactics. What are they doing all week with the training and stuff like that? Surely to God, with all these top coaches that were pulling in, they would be practicing shooting, they would be practicing attacking play. And for us to turn up and kind of half-hit shots and no be more clinical and especially against Bolton in the league, it's a worry, Ox. These 2 weeks, this international break is going to be very, very important for Gio, because if he doesn't get it right and the team comes back the way we've finished up, especially with this wee kind of carrot that we've been given, it's going to... Like Alex said, it's going to get a bit heated.
Here's my take on it, Alex, and before we bring in Kenny, I'll let you come in, mate. I just think, obviously, we've got a lack of pace, but we don't get enough men forward, and we don't get enough men in the box, and at times the wide men are too wide, I don't know what you think. I don't mind wingers being wide at times in the game. But you think you've got to mix it up. If you just stay wide all the time, mate, you become very easy to defend against. Alex?
100% right what you're saying. Really, as we went into that game, everybody went in here thinking, this will give somebody a right good result here today and get us back on to score. But he made a right good point there. The big Cholaks doesn't score. Where does the goals come from in this team? I know Roy Mackay, I think he's returned now. He was away there with compassionate lead. He was back in Holland. But he's come back. But the shooting, absolutely, let's be quite truthful, it's poor. and they perform. They're better than that. These guys are, I'm not saying they're good footballers. Let's be quite truthful. They wouldn't be Rangers the first time, but let's be quite truthful. That is just unacceptable. And it is, you can see it. The rumblings is there by the support. And we're going to get some of the GBC after this international break. We're going to go to Tynecastle and produce something we've not done yet. We've not even played 45 minutes, never mind 90 minutes. But that's where it's going to take.
All right, we've been joined by Kenny. Evening, Kenny. He'll be on to sing the praises. How are we doing, Kenny?
All right, Oxide, Pressman, GB, and Alex. Alex, you tell me about my fun to the radio, mate, actually. What you said about taking the Turkish boy, using him as a right back. Was a bit of coming and say that. Great idea. Because Kenny's not working out. On to the manager. Last time I was on Ox 2 weeks ago, I said, can Jill take it forward? After Saturday, no. I want this guy out pronto. I've made up my mind about him. We've got a wee bit of daylight here, the rain dropping a few points on Sunday here. This is the time to get this guy out. Saturday, Alex, I was there in the club deck. I seen everything you're saying, everything that was going around me, the fans and all the rest. The fans leaving 10, 15 minutes to go. I stuck it to the very end. And by the way, I totally enjoyed the test, incidentally, watching this team. And see, the sad part of me for Saturday, you know, see, Dundee United has got an equaliser. I wouldn't be too upset because they might get rid of this hopeless manager quicker. He's not got a clue. I studied him for about 5-10 minutes in the second half on Saturday on the touchline. He started his arms folded, absolutely clueless. It reminded me of Alan McCoy to the third division years ago. He was looking up at the heavens. Ali, great player, but no a manager. Then we got a period of play. There's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, left to right, left rather back to the keeper. He starts applauding. Rangers people. This Rangers football team has created a line dance on the park. It's absolutely monotonous to watch. His lack of everything. The guy just does not put it across. He doesn't learn. I said it 2 weeks ago on here. He doesn't seem to learn. He doesn't. The game is crying out for Morelos to come on Saturday as well, incidentally, right? Bring him up. Bring him playing. He played no bad last Wednesday against Napoli. He did bring him on. He's got holding midfielders and defence. Everywhere over the park is a joke. Ryan Kent, he's dropped. He's not just benched, dropped. The thing's a joke. The guy's got to go. Here's the time. Will this board do it? No, they won't. He's not on a rolling contract, which he should be on. He's on a 3-year contract as far as I'm led to believe. Everything with this club is going backwards. And I heard the party Bennett stuff I did, but to me it was condescending to the fans, actually, you know. And I've had enough of it. And it's going to end up open warfare between the fans and this board. I heard it all about me. The only thing they're going to do in the last 2 weeks is death of majesty. And the fans are in sort of respect period, you know what I mean? But there's big problems coming between the fans and this Rangers board. This cannot go on. When Bunkers is going to go, he can't change it. He has lost the dressing room. There's no doubts about it. I've played it when I was younger. I've played junior football, everything. I know when players are not playing for a manager. It's rare to be seen.
All right, I'll put it out to the callers if that's all right with you. Is Kenny right or is Kenny wrong? Should he stay or should he go? It's a simple question, Bridgeman, isn't it?
Very simple. If it's a one word, I would say no. Just to stay. Simple.
GB?
Oh, no, the new Ox, no.
I thought you were going to get splinters in your backside on that fence there. Alex, the voice of reason?
I'm saying no, but what I will say to Kenny is right enough. There's a dilemma here. Half the support are beginning to turn on the guy quick now. It really is. And he's right enough what he says there, 100%. But I've still got faith in the manager. And I'm prepared to get another go and see how we go after the international break.
Oh, but Alex, sorry, right. Where's your faith coming from, this guy? This guy doesn't learn. he doesn't. The team are not playing for the guy. The football is absolutely atrocious. The fans are filling in the park.
You're right there. You can't deny all that. We've seen it ourselves. But I can't for the love of me see how we were in the European final there for a month. Okay, we lost Aribo and Bassi and that. But the signings we made, we go to a final. Okay, my sons keep telling me, I know, in the league, you lost the league. The lead we had at the beginning, I lost. That's what I'm saying. A lot of the young team are now beginning to go the way Kenny's going. I'm just prepared to give him another go at it.
It's my birthday today. I'm 62 today.
Oh, 60. That was you moving out of the young team, Kenny.
Tell you what, Kenny, well into this panel, Kenny. They're all about the same age as you, pal.
But what I am, I've seen it all before.
Kenny, aren't you ready to join the UB? You're ready to join the Union.
You better, GB, me, you better go. This is a saga call now.
Oh,
right. Listen, I'll turn Kenny's question around to you, Alex, and Kenny can come in and give his Topsworth and then the bridge. I accept your argument. I accept GB and Bridges' point of view. Maybe it's a bit early to maybe people look at it. With confidence, could you let my director of football and Giovanni go to the market in January? Alex?
Well, this is the thing now, isn't it? They're talking about Ross Wilson. He made the signings and all this, and it's no Giovanni signings, and he can't get a Dutch guy in. I honestly don't know. So I see the manager. I'm trying to think exactly what it was. I know it's a player management's entirely different, that, but I just think there's something there in it. I maybe just need a wee spark, just with somebody else in that. I don't know, but by the way, if I lost his job, I'd be like, well, that's just supposed to go. You're asking me, I would give him another go at it.
Okay, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Kenny, and then Bridge.
No. I wouldn't give a really go. He's been on the job 10 months now. There's no system to that team. You know what I mean? It's watching a mad line dance playing football. You know what I mean? It's two forward, 3 back. May as well start clapping my hands every 2 steps forward and 3 back and across the park and back to the goalkeeper. In the second half, they done that, and I was watching them because the game is so crap. And he actually applauded that bit of play. It goes on with philosophy. His philosophy in football would get football shut down. Is that mad? It's so. It's absolutely terrible to watch. And to see the Rangers fans, good 15 minutes to go anyway, leaving the drobs out the ground says it all for me. You know, I mean, he comes on. What was it? He said after the game, like, you know, he doesn't inspire that you can pull this back or do this and that. There's something he said I clicked on it as well. You know, well, we can think we can still. He should be. The guy's no positive, and if you're not generating positivity into your fans, what are you doing at the team? Because all I see of Giovanni Bonker's brilliant player for us in the past is negativity. It doesn't come across. He's got to go. And here's a good time to do it. Unexpected. They've gifted us 3 points back. Thank you. Get rid of him now. Before it's too late.
All right, so the answer is you wouldn't let him spend any money in the window, him and Ross Wilson?
No.
Right, okay. Thanks for that, Kenny. Bridge?
Well, you just mentioned there, it wouldn't have been necessarily Gio that's doing the spending or the picking. It would be Ross Wilson. So it wouldn't matter whether Gio was there or not. It would be Ross Wilson who would be picking whoever's coming in. That's what we're led to believe at certain parties. I would definitely not, at this point in time, ignore the manager or reject him at all. I understand what Kenny's saying, and everybody feels that. I've got a feeling that it's similar to what Kenny feels. When's this going to end? When are we going to do this? When are we going to do that? I think the biggest bugbear of a lot of the players now is that 3 games they've had Davies sitting there on the subs bench and he never came off. we don't understand. Just people like myself don't quite understand why. I understand bringing them in and keeping them among the guys and keep their chin up and so on and so forth. But no on the subs bench. No, I'm sorry. We can't have been about sub bench for 3 games and the manager come out and say he's no fit. It's just no right, you know. So he's got to watch what he does there. He's got to watch his P's and Q's because the fans will. Kenny's absolutely right. The fans will turn if it doesn't improve. And he's got to improve it. He's got to do it. Him and his management team and his training team. They must see what's happening and they must adopt or adapt whatever they need. And that boy Davies must play. He must play as soon as possible. He must play.
Been saying that for weeks. GB.
Aye, Kenny. I mean, I'm behind you in the sense that I would have got rid of Gio if the result didn't go the way that it did at the weekend. I think he's bought himself time with that result, and purely just because we're going. Oh,
I've been joined by a caller. Evening, caller.
Evening, here. It's Harry.
How you doing, Harry? All right?
No bad, mate. I phoned you the last time, and I'm listening in the night. Bridge, GB, Alex, Kenny, and I can't. We're kind of the same thing. I think every week. I mean, the only difference was we actually won this game to Stoke the Rot, but I thought the performance was worse than the Napoli game. And I heard you talking about.
You might be right.
Well, Ox, I heard you talking about tactics, right? I mean, the last time I was on, when you were on, it was Stevie was on the last time with Bridge, when I was on. I was the time before that you were on, and I was talking about that I'd done the coaching with the SFA and I helped out with the performance things at school. Now you're taught 2 defensive systems. You're taught man marking and zone marking. Now your zone marking consists of 3 players. Now when I look at
the Bridgeman philosophy, retaliate first.
Aye, exactly. That's the way we have to. So that only works. See, zonal marking's great if your football's working. Zonal marking's brilliant. You've seen it in the run in Europe, but you never seen it in the SPL. Gio tried to start with zonal marking at the start of the season. Everybody, even a blind man, could see it wasn't working. So the last 2 games, the one at Napoli and the one against Dundee United, he scrapped it. But the thing I can't get about the Saturday game, he's played the boy Sands as a centre half to cover, practices the start of the season, and he drops him for the Dundee United game, brings in the boy King, which I think was a mistake, because this boy's only started 2 games. One when Tavernier couldn't finish one, and one when Sands gets sent off in the Napoli game. So, to me, that's not a game for that boy to come in. The boy McCann, yes, he has got a good future for Rangers, and he will come good and he will be a player. But again, I don't see how that boy. He was all right bits and starts, but he's not the player for me to put in when your performances are that low. And if you look at for the start of the season, Kent, the only 2 things I would say, I know people are talking about Kent and a confidence thing. The only thing I would say about Kent and Barisic, they've got a formula there. It's maybe not working 100% of the time, but it's working 60% of the time. So they get a 5 out of 10. Maybe Barisic gets a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Goals and start to pick up a wee bit, so he gets a 6 out of 10. But if you look at the right horn,
I must have missed that. Goals and picked up.
No, but I'm talking about the Napoli game, right? Oh. But the Dundee United game, no chance. But if you look at Tavernier, Ox, he's playing with an injury. I don't care what anybody says. This guy isn't half the player he was last season. But if you look at Tavernier's getting asked today, but Ox, Tavernier's getting asked to run for right back, and do the 2 things that Kent and Barisic is doing on the left hand side. So when Kent gets the ball, Barisic is bombing by him. But if you watch that game on Saturday, it was all down to Tavernier, and the whole right hand side was all down to Tavernier. There was nobody with a right wing attitude in that game. McCann never had that, right? Arfield never had it. Arfield's the type of player that run for midfield and try and run beyond the forwards. McCann was trying to do that. So you had 3 players all trying to run forward and you'd Kolak up there, and there was nobody in the right hand side, and you had Tav trying to hit crossbows in, and about 8 times out of 10 they were garbage. Let's be honest, they never get by the first man or nothing. They were absolutely garbage crosses.
Cheers for that, mate. Take a breath, mate. Have a drink of that water.
No bother.
Take some oxygen. Listen, I get it. Alex, you're a man of great wisdom. I don't think Tav's fit either.
It certainly looks that way, but what I will say, he made the first goal, he won the ball and he played the ball in, right? He could go through it all with a full lot with Sands. Sands, I thought, was ideal time to play in midfield on Saturday. Right, he never played him. So he can work it all in about him, or vision of that. We've not got a right-sided winger. Let's be quite truthful for our way back. We've tried everything. Matondo's not going today, and certainly Scott Wright's not going today. So we've got to invest in something over there to get us some pace down the wing, ball in for the guy to score the goals. And he needs a bit of help as well. These guys need to learn to score goals and take their chances all over the park. And I've said before about Kent. Kent needs a wee bit of time on the sidelines now. And I've said about the young Turk boy. Play him forward and let's have a go at that. Just to see what can happen. Maybe that's a wee spark. Maybe that's a wee spark that we need. But to me, the young boys are going to get a bit of time. They're going to make mistakes. We've said this before. Charlie McCann had a couple of chances to score goals. But overall, the young boy played quite well. I'm quite pleased he's in the team.
Played with the head up, Alex, didn't he? Played with the head up, man.
Yeah, certainly. That's fair. But you've got to remember, see this Dundee United, let's not be kidded here. They haven't even got a manager. They've probably come down for Dundee on the bus. I think they've picked the team on the bus. And there they've went to Ibrox and then they've got a result against us. It's just unacceptable. And I just hope Giovanni can turn it around. But as Kenny says, if he lost his job, he lost his job. I'm with the manager now. And Bridgman made a right good point. If he does go, doesn't matter who you bring in. If Ross Wilson's there and he's picking the players, this is the same solution. I've said it before. There isn't even one Dutch guy. You could get a young Dutch guy out of one of these divisions out of there. It's quite equivalent to play with Rangers now. And there isn't even a Dutch player there. That's the bit that gets me about it all. I've said it before. When managers come in, they usually bring 1 or 2 players to the other team, or certainly in the league that they're used to. We've not seen nothing like that. And Ben Davis, he's got to definitely play. See, after the break, if he doesn't play after the break, something seriously wrong.
I'm glad you mentioned Matondo, mate. I believe he'd be good at arriving late into the box because he arrives late for everything else, but that's another story. Kenny, you've hung your colours to the mast like you always do, mate, and you're saying it's time for a change, yeah? If we don't make the change with the manager, what would you look at the recruitment?
You heard what I said 2 weeks ago, wasn't you? Ross Wilson, you know what I mean? He's another one. You know what I mean? I said on here, he's my dick. To me, Van Bunker's a yes man. On the way back for the game this Saturday, my mate Billy, right? I said to him, right, who would you bring in?
I can't believe you would get a mate.
If Van Bunker scores, right? He doesn't have a clue. I'll give you a name, right? Michael Beale. Actually, I would bring. I know he's the QPR and all the rest of it. I would bring Michael Beale in. He would get that team organised in a structure, a way of playing football. When Broncos, things are not going to get any better under this guy. I've watched them. The game is so crap this Saturday. I studied this man, and it's not working. In fact, you see, Alex, I don't know if you noticed. I see the final whistle on Saturday. Did you see some of the Rangers players hugging each other, high five and all the rest of it? They beat Barcelona or something. Mm-hmm. They beat Dundee United.
I know. I think they just got.
Did you notice that? Did you notice that on Saturday?
Just glad to see the game out, mate. That was all. I didn't read too much in there.
I mean, taking the ball, get it, a corner kick, you can nearly score for that. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous the way he's got this team. And there's no when he made the substitutions, all the shape was lost, any shape they really had anyway, you know what I mean? It's an absolute joke. He's got to go.
All right, okay, that wasn't the question. The question was about who would do the recruitment if he stays. Right, okay. Listen, gentlemen, and I say that word loosely, get yourself, apart from Alex, of course, and the bridge, and Gary, get yourself a mute, because we're going to have a tune. Sorry, boys.
From Argyle, so young, to Glasgow City, they come, seeking fortune and a new way of life. How could they know ambitions would grow? Such a beautiful story, and here's how it goes. Four lads had a dream to start a football team. They had no money, no kit, not even a ball. They still carried on. The Rangers were born. 55 titles, we're still going strong. So hoist up your Rangers flags, sing with your heart and voice, celebrate the greatest club in the world. Let our history show what we already know. We are the Rangers, the greatest of all. Start a football team. They had no money, no kit, not even a ball. They still carried on. The Rangers are born. 55 titles, we're still going strong. Start a football team. They had no money, no kit, not even a ball. They still carried on. The Rangers were born. 55 titles, we're still going strong. 55 titles, we're still going strong.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Okay, thanks for that. Old school blue, Fox. GB, here's a point for you, and I'll take this round the boys. You know, with a big game, emotional game on Wednesday evening, we've played a decent side. We've competed really, really well. It's sending off, and then it goes into the energy sapping. And then we go back to the well with most of the same players, apart from maybe McCann and Ollie King came in. We didn't play Morelos, so Cholak was fresh, but the rest potentially weren't. Is that an issue? We're squad's better and we're not even to refresh. You know, you could have Lundstrom at the team let's be honest, Goldston could come to the team on Saturday and we need to freshen up, but we're just going back and back and back, and we have done for years now.
Just shows you how trusting the manager is, Ox. That's the thing. Like Tavernier, we're saying that he's possibly we know he's no fit. He's not the same player now. But yet we're having to play him. Golson, Borner to a certain extent still showed that kind of. I mean, he set up the goal for Cholak and stuff like that. Still showed a bit of promise, but the team was very surprising by adding in King and stuff, and for it still to be very leggy. I mean, Arfield again, he's another one that he just seems to not be able to handle 2 games a week just because of the energy levels that he's got. It saps right out of him. But yet, like Arfield seems to be a better player when he's had a kind of rest and coming off the bench and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, he's still putting performance and stuff, but it could be a hindrance, Ox, considering we're not getting anything for Europe now anyway.
We're not refreshing it, Alex. We're going in the well with the same players, and they're low in confidence because the results haven't went their way, but they're also putting in by a decent performance, even though it wasn't a decent result against Napoli. Alex?
That's the thing, Ox. They're relying on the same guys again. Yeah, the guys that we never won the league last year, although there was 6 points in front, and they took us to a final. We gave them a year's contract, thinking the idea it was for to bring the new players in, for them to really show them the way to play with Rangers and not play them every week. But unfortunately, this is what's happened. We're going away back the way. We're definitely missing Lawrence. He's out injured. But we've really got to do something. As I said before, Ross Wilson, when you see the signings we've made, there's some of them being really, really poor. And the fans expect a lot better than that. Let's be quite truthful on that. And we're going there because of the love of the team. They want to see us doing well in that, but you've just got to call it how you see it. And that performance on Saturday, that should have been 3 points right away. No hanging on at the death there. You've got that Charlie McGrew running about there as if he's Beckenbauer. Honest to Christ, him and other big Edwards, the 2 of them. It was ideal time for Morelos to come on at the Rommel aim right up. But there you go. I'm here hoping that we get the break now and we come back after the break and things is going to be a lot better. But I hold my breath. Oxford, I'm going to call in other callers in now. Thanks very much. A brilliant show, mate. Thank you very much, you Bridgeman and JB, Kenny and Harry. Take care.
All the best, Alex.
Same question to you then, Harry. We're going to the well with the same players continuously, and we have done for quite a number of years now because our team's hardly changed. Is that an issue for you?
It's a big issue for me, Ox. I mean, I think I threw that question out to the guys the last time I was on with you, and I says to you, when's the last time we bought a quality midfielder? I actually paid money for one, and I says that was Pena. When Casino was there, we paid $3 million for a guy that turned out he had alcohol problems and that. So if you go back to then, and then, I mean, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody who's got that condition or anything like that, but what I mean is it shows you how you look into these guys' past and their history and everything. And if you look at the criteria that we've had to do, I mean, I'll give you 6 players, right? You've got the boy who came for Hearts, injured, Suter. You've got the other boy, Davis, who played out on loan last year, done no bad, came for Liverpool, injured, and he's on the bench, not getting a game. You've got Morelos, who was called out 3 weeks ago. He told him to get himself fit. He goes back on a week later, plays against Napoli, plays a good 60 minutes. Gio comes out and says he got his act together, he's running about well, all the rest of it, doesn't even get a game against Dundee United. When we desperately need somebody to go in there and hit the defenders all the other place. We've got Arfield. Everybody knows he can't do 2 games, but he gets 2 games. And Arfield was flagging. Why not bring Morelos on for a half an hour? Why not bring Davis on for a half an hour? No, we don't do that. We bring Tillman on. Now, everybody can see Tillman's not got any legs. He's not getting, maybe but nice with the ball at his feet and all the rest of it. he jogs back to chase a guy, he jogs forward. And, you know, I mean, you're playing somebody like Celtic, or you're playing a low block against a low block defence. You need somebody that can move the ball fast. You need somebody that can see a vision in a pass, and you need players that's running into space. It's not happening up there. I said to you before, it's the old horseshoe thing. It's gone for the 3 defenders out to Kent, back to the 3 defenders, out to Tavernier, and back to the 3 defenders. And then if we do get pressed, so people know how we're playing. So, and you see goals in throwing his hands up. You know what I mean? It's so, our football now is so predictable. And when did you ever see us getting beat? Never mind we get beat 3 games in a row. When have you ever seen the dire performances we've put in at Ibrox this season? It's absolutely been shocking.
It's not been great all season, if we're honest.
No, Oxen. I just think we've got to look at, as I said the last time I was on, we need to try and win more games where we win them. I don't mean any harm to the boys that's on the night, and I don't mean any harm to the boys that's listening. I'll take 1-0 all the way to that Old Firm game.
Oh, Bridgeman, right. Bridgeman will take that, wouldn't you, Bridge?
No, absolutely. Every day, every game for me, because I fear, I've still got this wee bit in my heart from many a long year ago, and I still fear Rangers not playing too well, but I'll accept a 1-0 win for every game. I go for it every week, and when I do not go for it, I make terrible mistakes. No, I think the 1-0 suits me because when it comes to trusting and my instinct and so on and so forth, I'm going for that. I've not got any instinct now when it comes to these things. I just feel the guys that have been on tonight all talked a lot of sense, and everyone are very disappointed.
Thanks very much, Bridge. Thanks a lot.
They've all talked a lot of sense, and they're all majorly disappointed in the manner in which Rangers are playing. And that's got to stop. They've got to improve. And I don't know how it improves other than the guys who are injured and we're missing badly, we get them back into the fold again and get them playing. But this chap, I said it earlier, and maybe I shouldn't repeat it, but I will. This chap, Ben Davies, he has got to play. I don't care what's happening, he's got to play. If he's not fit, he shouldn't be in the club, in the squad at all. Nowhere near it. I don't want to hear him. I personally don't want to hear a manager saying, I can't play him because he's not fit when he's sitting on the bench taking the space up. Get a youngster in, give him some experience sitting with the squads and so on and so forth. They're no good Ben Davies sitting there, seriously.
Mm-hmm. There's 2 ways of looking at it. Is the manager sending a message out, Kenny, that he's got a player that he doesn't fancy? Or is there a fitness issue where he's not starting them? I can't think of anything else, yeah?
Possibly, but you tell you the truth, right? Get back to the close season, right? I was talking to a few of the boys in a certain pub in Dayslow Road West, and what I was talking to say to the guys was, these signings, I'm really underwhelmed by. Really underwhelmed by. Tillman, who we say, for example, boys, the winger, I was underwhelmed, but I wanted to be proved wrong. So far I've been proved right. But you've got a manager that's been bonkers, and you've still got guys defending him. He's in the job 10 months. This guy cannot change things. He doesn't motivate. He just seems to be looking for divine intervention at times. As I studied him on Saturday, the situation is not going to change, guys. They'll go up against Hearts that week on Saturday, and most likely drop points. His away record alone is shocking, as you pointed out to me 2 weeks ago, Ox. I don't look into things like that, but I really did look into it. It's shocking. This is the time now, but the board won't. He's on a contract. Any board nowadays, any real awakening, you don't put guys on 3-year contracts. You put them on a rolling contract and see what's what, because it's going to cost us more money to get rid of them. The guy won't cut it at Rangers. The players don't play for him. It's obvious. I played football myself. I can tell the body language of footballers. Ryan Kent's a classic example. Out of form, out of confidence, because the manager doesn't inspire it in him. And a lot of the players too. He's playing Tav, right? We all know Tav's injured, right? He done the same in Ellis last season. and what happened, he's out for about 6-8 months, whatever, right? This is what I keep going back to. If somebody doesn't learn, you can't fix anything. This guy, you know, I've gave up with him. I don't like the way he talks in his presses. And another thing is, well, talking to his press conference, this thing made on a Friday before a game, talking to Rangers TV, not coming out to face the Rangers press. I don't like that. Gerard very well done that. If you come out and, like, he doesn't like being criticised. He's touchy, you know, you question anything, he gets quite touchy, it's getting worse. Because he knows himself, he's so stuck in his philosophy. His philosophy will get football shut down, incidentally. You know, it's not my philosophy of football. I want to see a Rangers team attacking. No 2 steps, 3 steps back, whatever, across the park, turn it into some mental line dance. Maybe I'll start clapping hands with the do it. It's monotonous to watch. It's shocking. The fans are going to turn on him, the board, and everything else. They put into this club, they give it everything. And what we're getting back here, you know, it's not good enough. Things have got to change, and it starts to me with the manager. The manager, unfortunately, great player for us, no doubts, but no manager.
I don't think you're alone in their thoughts, Kenny. I don't think you're alone in their thoughts. I think I go to Bridgeman. I think you said that. No, it was Alex maybe said it was 50-50 coming out the ground, but I don't think he's alone. And the trouble is that maybe a dodgy result or an unexpected result, he could go under even more pressure. But football's a funny game, GB, in it can turn around quite quickly.
Aye, results can help him, Mox, that's the thing. But he is one, I think I'm with Kenny in the sense that I think he has one bad result away for getting the chop. But the interview of the day for John Bennett, does he really inspire you to think that the board are thinking the same way as what the fans are? Because from what he kind of touched on in his interview was that he backs the football department and he backs Gio because Gio's came to him and said to him that he's happy with the squad. It's still early in the season and all the rest of it. But my God, I mean, if he thinks that it's been a successful start of the season, then he's far wrong.
Richmond?
Yeah, I hope that Giovanni is not thinking this is a fantastic season we're having. I think hopefully he sees what's happening on the park. Sometimes because of the transfer window closing without having a major signing or any decent signing, by the look of it, he must be frustrated as head to hell himself, and he can't wait until the next window. Hopefully he'll have some input to it and get whoever he wants or one player that he wants, because it makes us look really stupid. There's parts of that game on Saturday, it looked as if we couldn't play football at all. Seriously, we just looked as if we couldn't find our own men, and the worst team in the league, the worst team that the league's seen for a long time, comes to Ibrox and slices us apart at times in the second half. It's not right, you know. It's just not right. So hopefully he's seen all that, and I'll give him credit for what he's been, where he's got to in the game, and he's took us to the Europa League final and so on and so forth. So he's got all that credit hanging on to him. But he needs to get it sorted out with the players. Either we go back to the youths, bring the youths through, and let's go on with it, go on with our life, and we'll see how we go on from there. Or we need to do something else. There's just no way you can't go on the way it's going. He's got to improve.
I'm all for bringing youth in and getting it right. It's difficult, and I think that you saw on Saturday the two boys done okay. Harry, they done okay, but there's a step up there, isn't there? There's a, you know,
aye. See when
you're men football.
Oh God, aye. See the worst time. I'm sure everybody understands about how coaching works and how the best time to bring youth in, Ox, is when you're doing well. See, look, right. I mean, I hate to talk about that team the other way, right? They made 6 changes against St Mirren. Arrogance said him, thought he'd walk on the park, the 6 changes. He quickly learnt that in the second half, that wasn't working. But he broke players in, like your Jota and all that. We come on, play 45 minutes against Dundee United, and we make 3 changes. It doesn't make an inch of difference to the team. We've got players that you can physically see, Jack, Arfield, you can physically see Tavernier all lagging in that first half. You can see it, even over, as you say, you hit the head right on it. In the first 20 minutes, we could have been 3 or 4 up. But it's a case of you couldn't, if you're not going to take your chances, then you're only that one goal up. You're saying the same thing that we done to Dundee United last year when they came and beat us 1-0. Remember that game? And why is Sakala not playing? Why is I couldn't put Matondo in because I could only pick 20 players. Well, pick him then and drop Kent. Put Morelos in and align with Kolak, because that's a perfect game to play 2 up front. Play a 4-4-2. Okay, it might not be your tactics. Play a 4-4-2, put Morelos and Kolak in and go for it.
I agree. Try and get your best players on the park.
But see if you watch it. But remember I told you about the Celtic game, Ox. If you watch Celtic, right? Celtic's more. This is Ange Postecoglou. That's Ange Postecoglou's tactics is try and blow the team away in the first 45 minutes, no matter who they are. Try and blow them away in the first 45 minutes. See if you trap them doing deed in the 60 minute. I'll put 5 players on, and they'll still put the run about. They might not be as classy as the ones he's taking off, but they'll give them the effort. What happens was we put the slow guys on first, and still keep them on, and then put slower guys on, like your Tillman. Now Tillman's not going to give you effort. He'll give you a bit of touch, a bit of class. But you can tell that boy's like the boy that Bright was talking about, the boy from Manchester United we got on loan. He's going to be started off no bad, the boy from Manchester United, and he kind of fell away, and then he came back good at the end of the season. Tillman gives me that impression he might be that same type of player. Matondo, Mr. Bennett's come out and says him and the boy from Turkey are, you can hear what he's meaning, work in progress, get them up to scratch when they're 21, 22, and try and do a Bassi. Now, we know Bassettine a year before he came good, gave us half a good season, and we sold it for 19 million. And I think that's what the board's looking at. Oh, we only got half a season out of him, and somebody came in and gave us big money. But he was quality. You could see he was quality. We've no broke quality, Bridge. Or Ox. We've no broke quality. What we've brought in is we've brought in potential. And there's 2 players that's given us a quality. Lawrence and Kolak.
Projects like the boy Matondo. No. We need guys like Lawrence, Kenny, that are experienced pros and they can deliver week in, week out. Yeah, because when you bring in young boys, there is a learning curve, isn't there?
No. You're bang on it. Guys like Lawrence, but you're saying here the signings like Tillman and Welsh boy. If that's what I never heard the thing, there's a clip, wee bits through it. I find it pretty condescending to tell you the truth. If that's the way Rangers Football Club are going in this board, taking points on players, trying to give them a couple of years, project players, it's no helping the team. They're not doing anything for this. Not everyone's going to be a Bassi, you know what I mean? And this is where this board is coming to, it's getting to a collision point with this board. I said it 2 weeks ago, biscuit tin mentality. All right, we've not got loads of money, but we're not spending either. But surely, God, I mean, you come out a European final, you get into the Champions League. Let's get a couple of, at least 2 players. I said 4 2 weeks ago, and I stand by. We needed 4 players. We're nowhere near it. There's no depth on the bench to come on. This is the problem. Celtic, he calling them. They've got depth. We've got no depth. We're relying on old guard. This is still Gerrard's team, and that is sad indictment. You've got a manager there that should be knocking the door down, going like that. No, he doesn't, because he's too sad to prove it to me. You know, he's scared to take a punt. You know, he's too nervous now to lose a game. He Dundee United, both in the league, it's getting thrashed every other week. He doesn't bring Morelos on. Cagey, football garbage. No. He's got to go. Sorry, I've made up my mind with the guy. And do it soon, because before it's too late.
You made your point. Stick to the point. You don't have to keep playing the same record. Different tune, yeah.
I know. I know.
As you told me.
I've got one on me right, Will. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
after Saturday's endurance test, you know what I mean?
Turn that frown upside down, Kerry, yeah? But listen, when you're talking about the game and you're talking about tactics that we're watching this season. If we take this season in isolation, Bridgeman, it's hard to argue with what Kenny's saying.
Sadly, you're right. I have to say that there's many fans. I sit on the Courtland and you can hear a whole panoply of guys making, like myself, making excuses for the manager to a certain extent, and others absolutely hate him because they're not seeing nice football, nice flowing football. Certainly not every week anyway. And of course, we can't beat them across the road. That's the kind of thing that fans hate. We've got to win, and we've not a better place to win is at Ibrox, as we've proved many times, and we couldn't do it. We hardly did it, sorry. We nearly threw the game away a couple of times on Saturday, and it is really eye-wateringly painful to watch sometimes. And that's what we've got to put up with. And I'm thinking, Kenny's right. The fans are just getting to the edge, and they'll somewhere along the line, they're either going to wake up and everyone's going to be happy, and we're going to win some games in a row, things like that. Maybe win our European tie even. And the fans will. It's the only thing that's going to bring the fans back, because they're on the slippery slope at the moment. And we need to wake up. The club needs to wake up. The manager, most assuredly, and his technical team need to wake up and smell the coffee and listen to the fans. Read the room. Please, just read the room, because it can happen to you.
It's difficult. It's difficult. What do you do, Harry? Do you stick or twist?
To be honest with you, I think he'll get to the January window. I don't think they'll sack him before that, because you're bringing in somebody that at this time of the season, who are you getting? There's nobody there that I know Kenny mentioned a name there. You're asking a guy to leave Queen's Park Rangers. It was ways before. But Kenny's coming in and he's going to have to deal with the same players. I know he can maybe change the tactics, but probably the guys...
This is the sad indictment. It's still Gerard's team.
Jared, Kenny, I mentioned that the last time I was on. I turned around and I said, we've even got players, Morelos. Morelos is a great player, but we've even got players like Morelos. It comes from Pedro Casina. So, but that's what Jared. See, when you look at Jared, right, roughly spent about 10 million a season, right, and but we were selling players as well. But if you look at Jared, he was always crying out for the start of the season, a quality midfielder. Up to last season, he wanted Veerman. Now, Veerman was going to cost us 7 million. Now, he never got it. And right away, when Jared never got that, you could tell Jared's body language and everything. The first time...
Exactly. He's back to the Boardroom spending money. Or even never qualified for the Champions League.
Kenny, let him finish. You know better.
And I just think that we've got... See, where it is where I see the damage, where a game's won, for us anyway, right? If we've got that many defenders, we bought that many, okay, I know some of them are injured, but the boy Sands was doing all right. Why change that in the start of the game? Kenny, and I think it was Alex that says push him up into midfield, but then you've not got a centre-half then. But I'd have kept Sands on the centre-half. The problem I see where we've got is your midfield. And Dundee United, I don't care what you're, they're a bottom of the league team. Why can you not go with two up front? And because this mob across the water, they've scored 9 goals against them. If we'd have got 6 or 7, that makes a big difference, a goal difference. I was sitting in the Broomy. Kenny, I think you said you were sitting in the Courtman or whatever, and Bridgeman's right. Aye. Now, I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for my brother, I was leaving 15 minutes before the game finished. I just thought, they're going to get a goal here. They're going to get a goal here. I can't believe this. And you can see the panic because we started kicking the ball out, kicking for shies, kicking it for this, kicking it for... You could actually feel the tension on the park. You could see it at the dugout. You could see Giovanni absolutely sweating buckets. And I said to myself, we're going now, this is before the game is Sunday. I said, we've lost this league. See, when I left that ground, I said, we've lost this league. That's the worst performance I have seen all season, and that was at Ibrox.
Cheers, mate. Right, okay. GB, you're making the point that when players come back, but we don't know when they're going to come back. Roof, the manager says he'll decide. Oh, there we go. As long as you're getting your wages every week, you're all right. Big Orlando, long term. Hadji, New Year, when he's going to be match fit with that terrible injury he's had. Don't know. big suitor, I'm hearing next year now, which is quite sad for the boy. Or I think he's got to do. Hopefully Tom Lawrence is back when we come back after the international break, or is that going to turn into a saga? When are they all back, mate? And how's it going to help us? And when's it going to help us, GB?
I mean, looking at the injury list, probably what I'm meaning with it is that we know that Lawrence is coming back, so that gives him his attacker back in midfield. And then we're looking at that Ben Davies.
He's no back. He's no back yet, is he?
Well, I don't know. That's the funny thing. He's in the squad, but this is what I'm saying.
No, Lawrence isn't back. How many times have we heard that somebody's out for 2 weeks and we don't see them for 6 months?
Aye. But what I mean is, once he's back, and then you've got that Ben Davies back, then he's got no more excuses. I mean, the rest of them, if they're long term, that's fair enough. But then he's got no more excuses to go. He's got a squad to pick for, and as Bridgman's touched on, if he's not picking any of these players and he keeps going with the same old, then there's only going to be one outcome out of it all, because playing that style of football that we're seeing now, he'll maybe get away with it a couple of weeks against lesser teams. But I mean, if that Hearts team turn up against us and give us a game, then a draw is going to be a disaster. I mean, and it's going to just mount on him, and this is where, what I say is, if he gets him back and then he's not got an excuse that his team's been broke up because of injuries, then we might see a different outcome. But it's a 50-50, like Alex Wishy said. It's on a knife edge, you know, because it's going to be an important break, you know, for us.
The Ben Davies one, I think what people kind of work out, Bridgman, is the fact that he's been on the bench for the last 3 games. Is that 4 now? Is that Ajax? Last 3 games, Ajax, and then obviously Napoli and Dundee United. So it suggests he's fit and fit to play because he's on the bench, yeah, mate.
I have to say that, and this is where I say the manager, he's sort of digging his own grave to a certain extent when he comes away with these things. You can't come on the telly in an interview and say, I want to pick my team, and I can't play him because he's injured. Hold on a minute, you're in an interview with a press release to the fans, and the people are asking you questions. You can't get upset in any way, shape or form that way. The guy's been on the bench for 3 weeks or 3 games, and you haven't played him. And on the 3rd game, you still haven't played him. And it's that game was against the bottom of the league. Why is he not even the first team for that game? Is he that badly injured? Or is he, they get no data on it, no details. And that's the most infuriating thing about being a fan. Listening to your manager, who I love him to bits, I seriously do. But my goodness gracious, that is really, really infuriating. You got a guy on the bench 3 weeks in a row, sitting on the bench. Is he not good enough to play? Oh, he'll be good enough to play, but he's got a slight knock on it. No. Get somebody else in and play them. Sorry, forgive me. That's me just ranting away there, so apologies.
No, you did quite a lot. Don't worry about it. No, but I get a lot of what you say there, Bridgman. I just listen for us youngins like me and GB. Kenny, if you're fit enough to go on the bench, you're fit enough to play. Eh?
What a shocker!
It's true, isn't it? You can be called upon in the first minute, can't you?
The Ben Davies one just sums it all up. I mean, to me right now, Rangers Football Club are bipolar. I'm not going to mess my words about it. Everything just is upside down. It's crazy. You're up 1 minute, down 1 minute. I can't figure this one out. I don't think, me personally, this is my own take on it. I don't think the manager fancies him. That's why Wayne King's in here on Saturday. And I've not got a problem with that one on Saturday. I like to see young boys come through. The boy McCann on Saturday actually done all right. He was surrounded by mediocrity. He tried to move the ball and do these things and all the rest of it. But that's the only pluses I take for that on Saturday, you know. It's just the whole everything about this club right now. There's something far wrong. It goes beyond Ben Bonkhurst and Ross Wilson. It goes right into the depth of that board. I say to my daughter, Rangers are bipolar. And nothing against people who go bipolar, but that's the way I see them. There's something that's just not there. It's transcending itself down into the dressing room, to the players, and as I say, the game Saturday, and during the test it was, but I watched the few of the players after the game, big high fives. Crikey, they've beat Dundee United. It's been splashed with every team going this season. It's not good enough. I hate it. It's so negative. I love Rangers. Rangers are my life, outside my family and that. But this is not acceptable.
Yeah, I get it, mate. The performances on there, I can't dress it up. Talking about somebody who never dresses things up. I've been joined by Bob J. Evening, Bob J.
Hi, good evening, everybody. How you doing? I'll just come on here.
All right.
I'll just come on here, reiterate what everybody's saying. That Saturday was just dire. It was terrible. Just not acceptable. And what it is, I'm like everybody else. I cannot put my finger on it. I can understand the lack of form, but I can't understand the seemingly endless lack of urgency. The only time we played this year has been in Eindhoven, and the rest of it has just been terrible. And what it is, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I'm not going to come on here and analyse players or managers or anything like that. It's just what is wrong, we don't know. I wish somebody would come out and tell us. Because there is definitely, like the chap said there is definitely something wrong somewhere. Go to be. Yeah, hey-ho, positives. We're back in the hunt again, 2 points behind them. If we can get it sorted out, get a bit of form shown, then we can go for it. And maybe there's something in this league. But at the moment, I don't know. I don't know what the way forward is, lads.
It's difficult, Bob, because we've got no real confidence. Brisbane?
Yeah, you can see that. You can see with our team that in certain some of the positions, even for me, the stalwart of the team has been for the last number of years has been Goldson, and unfortunately, at times he sees himself stuttering and stammering to be following with the ball at his feet. So I think that's down to his getting a wee bit lack of confidence, and it might be around about shall we say, the men he's playing with. They don't fit into what he thinks is good. So that whatever's happening in the back isn't allowing Goldson to play Goldson's game, given the fact that he does make mistakes at times. But when he's got someone there he trusts completely, the additional centre back, he's a bit of a different player. And I think that's a problem with Goldson, and it's a problem for our defence. They need to get another centre half in. And if that's that guy sitting on the bench, drag him in. Get that Ben Davies in there and prove he can do it.
Man, that game at Ibrox, we should have been able to play back goalkeeper and still win the game.
Exactly. We should have played there with one defender. Just the one defender would have been fine. We were dreadful. Just dreadful.
And you come, GB?
Ox, like I said to you, if we're going to be playing like that, then it's got to be at one outcome. But the thing is, if it's come for the top, then, I mean, we're talking about Ross Wilson, we're talking about Gio. I mean, we don't know what they've been told, what the lay of the land is. Maybe they want more, but they're not getting more. And this is why it's frustrating, because we don't know. I mean, that interview coming out is a timely interview, because they must be knowing the murmurings were coming for the fans, that they weren't happy, and they've came out with this interview the day. And but the interview now has flung up more questions than answers for me, and it is affecting the team.
But the interview,
even go. Aye. The interview, for what he said there, he's turned around and says that everything's all rosy in the garden, when it's no. It's clearly no.
I don't know if he did say that, mate. If you listen to the full interview, he recognised that we've only played well, but recognised where we've been and where we are.
But he said that he said that Gio and Ross Wilson were happy with the way the squad was. I mean, how can Gio be happy with that going into the Champions League and the league. I mean, he must be even knowing himself. I mean, he's proven it with his team choices that he's not got the depth because he's flinging in all the old guard now. And even that at the weekend, flinging in King and McCann, when he's got other supposedly experienced players, expensive players sitting on the bench. It just doesn't make sense. And I agree with Kenny.
I think the one that doesn't make sense is the Bob Jer is the Davis one, isn't it? And Davis one, because we're looking, saying 3 games he's been on the bench and he's not got a sniff. So if he's no fit, he shouldn't go to the bench, yeah?
Well, that's exactly right. If the man's not 100% fit, why is he even there? I didn't even understand the purchase of the guy. I mean, Christ, surely this Highlander's in your fitness now. And we brought in the boys shooter. I can't he's had personal problems, but at the end of the day, he's a Rangers player. And you know, we need another, the boys have highlighted it, we need another centre half in there. We're awash with centre halves. Why bring him in and no play him? I don't know. I don't care what the problem is. You're hearing all this about fitness here, fitness there, fitness everywhere. I just don't understand that. What's going wrong here? Has there been a massive fallout with the manager? That's always a possibility. You don't know. I just wish the club would come clean about something and let us know what's happening.
The trouble is we're going to talk about it because it's international prep, people.
Well,
John Bennett interviews will give something to talk about in the next couple of days, but when the day came out, and the kids are not going to tell us everything. They can tell us, you know, exactly when players will be back, what people's personal circumstances are. That's private. That's between the player and his employer, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
We can hear communications don't be great, except that, but the board, and they can't tell us every small detail, you know. They'd love it, but they can't, can they?
No, because it would create even more animosity. And they've got to obviously protect the club for us sometimes, Ox. I mean, it's a hard in a rock place. But all we are looking for is, in some shape or form, is the performance of the team, what the manager's doing, and just a bit of honesty sometimes. That's all. I mean, the Gio side of things, if he would, instead of turning around and saying somebody's no fit yet, then maybe give you an explanation why. Are you bringing Davies in, in to be around the squad to get an understanding the Matchday experience, etc., etc. I mean, is he doing that just because to make up the numbers? Well, if that's the case, then that's fine. I accept that. But when you're playing a boy like King in front of a guy who signed for Liverpool, it just doesn't add up. It tells me there's either a discipline issue, he's not pulling his weight in training, so that's how King gets his nod. And seeing a couple of other players being missing for it, I mean, players showing dissent to the manager. I mean, we've had Morelos, and then we've had possibly another. I mean, it's just, I've never known it to be so disrespectful to the manager.
Well, I think you've moved camps, and you've went from Bridgman's camp to Kenny's camp for the Sins at GB, which I don't have a problem with, but I understand your rationale, yeah?
I think he's a shocker for doing that.
No, he's flipped camp.
The only thing, like I'm saying after the international break, is giving him his chance is purely just to get players back and see what happens with the team. Lawrence did make your team far, far better. Ken was a far, far better beside him. So for me, like I say, he gets his main guys back who have been giving him something, and then we take it for there. But like I say, he's still one result away from animosity.
Bob Jan, you're the guy. You try and get your best players on the park. Obviously, Tom Lawrence hopefully gets even better for us when he's fit. Alfredo Morelos, he's got to be on the park, isn't he? A long way. Cholak's a finisher, eh?
Well, Kolak's proved his point, Ox. Kolak's put the ball in the back of the net. You can't criticise the lad. How many goals he scored? Is it 8 goals he scored already?
Something like
and there were two good finishes in Serbia. You can't criticise the lad. He's doing his job, eh? I mean, we've got this speculation between him and Morelos. I mean, again, I mean, it's all been highlighted, the attitude problems of Morelos. Morelos has got a bit of competition there now, and he's going to have to fight for his place, just like everybody else. And to me, overall in the squad, there's no enough fighting for the place. It would reflect on the park if we did have a bit of fighting. I think that's the trouble. It's this seeming this genial attitude of all the squads getting to the lawyers, and we just don't know what it is, what's causing it. Is it the manager? Is it certain players? We don't know. I keep saying it to him, obviously blue in the face. Come out and tell us. We're not asking about personal circumstances. We're asking what's wrong with the attitude of your football team here. Because it's just simply not good enough.
If I'm playing devil's advocate here, I'm not saying I believe what I'm saying, but I'm playing devil's advocate here, Harry. We're 2 points behind the league. We'll qualify for the Champions League, but in the next round of the Cup, we'll get players coming back for injury. Things as bad as we're making it?
I don't think things are as bad as we're making. I don't think things are as bad as we're making out, Box Chair. No, I really don't. But I think the problem, if people are really being honest enough, is they just can't get the manager's tactics. Because let's give me an example, right? You've got Davis, I think it's about £4 million. You've got the boy for Turkey, who's about £5 million, and you've got Midtondo, who's £2.5 million. And the manager comes out after the game and says, right, take the boy for Turkey. He's not going to get a game because Barisic is playing no bad enough. But if you look at Davis and Midtondo, there's £8 million, £7 million worth of player, and you're turning around saying in a press conference, I never picked one because I couldn't pick 23. That's how he was in the side the last time. I could only pick 20. Now, what does that tell people that's watching that or listening to that? Now, the other thing about that interview, he only said it to a selected person it was asked for the interview for. And we all know what's happening at Ibrox. It's Rangers people staying the questioning to Van Bronckhorst, so it makes it easier for him. Where I think us 5 here at Stone and Talking the New, we're in that boardroom and saying things to Van Bronckhorst, we would ask more questions like, right, come on, how long is Helander? What was the injury? What's the script with Ruth? Come on, what's happening? Where is he going to be when he comes back? How do you see him moving forward? What's the script with Hillman? Why did we bring him in and loan when we've got a 20-year-old boy McCann that you threw on before him? So why did we have to bring him in and loan? It's because of £1 million a year. Why did we have to bring him in? Right, I know he started off all right with a couple of good headers, but why did we have to bring him in? And then you've got, why did we have to give McGregor, Arfield and Davis another year? Now, I know I would be happy for another year, but what does that tell you? It tells you you've only got another year and you're out the door. So if you still get that same commitment and dedication week in, week out, I love Davis. I love wee Davis. And he's 37 and he'll give you 100%. I'd put him on before I put Arfield. Do you know what I mean? And I just think Arfield's lost a bit. I can see it in him. I just think that we're watching that. We're at the Ibrox. We're watching that Austria, and you're seeing it's not working. You're seeing the system's not working, and you're sitting as Bridgeman said. You've got a guy called Davis, £4 million, and he's sitting on the bench for 3 games, and he's not even had a half an hour. You've got Morelos, who he told you 2 weeks ago he was back to his brain was right, all kicking air properly. He was putting the work in.
The one in the midday points, Harry. You made the most early.
No, I know, but and that's what I'm saying. If we're going to keep doing that, then I think he'll go in January. I think he has to go because I think the fans are walking out the new 15, 20 minutes before the game's finished. I think the fans are going to really turn against him, and the board will need to listen.
I'm interested now, man. Hopefully, it doesn't go like that. I hope if GB's right, we come back and play sparkling football after the international break. But as we sit today, if I'm being honest, Bob, domestically, we've not played well all season, really.
Well, I'm just hoping. I mean, you've just quoted the position we're in, Ox, and we were second in the league with 2 points through. We're up there proverbial again. And they're nothing great, as was proved on Sunday. And we're still in the Champions League again. It's a learning curve, but we're there. We've got the money for it. And we're in all the cup competitions. All we need to do is just light the blue touch paper and go. For God's sake, kick into life, Rangers. That's all we're asking. There's a lot of ability there. You just mentioned the boy Tom. When the boy Rotondo, I mean, just kick into life. Be Glasgow Rangers. No this lacklustre shower that we're watching week after week, because it's only one result and an awful doing round about you, and somebody will fight with their job. And I certainly didn't want to see the manager fighting with his job. I like him. I just want us to use the international break, get everything together, get everybody fit, and then go for it again, because we've still got all these competitions to play for.
Is there any chance that there's any players at Ibrox just, shall we say, working their ticket and just waiting to the end of the season because they're finishing up next year?
You don't know, Davis.
No, I'm saying, but I would say that, Kent is given off to me. I don't know why I'm thinking this, but he looks to me like he could be working his ticket, just waiting to the end of the season because we haven't managed to sign him up.
You never know, mate. But anyway, we've been joined by Henry. Evening, Henry.
How you doing, gentlemen?
How are you doing, mate?
All right, guys. What's the king?
What about you, mate? What's on your mind?
Just a wee thing. What? I don't care if you've read anything in this. The Rangers up for sale.
I think if you see
I'll leave that with you.
If you see the interview today, what we're going to discuss tomorrow, I don't think so. GB.
No, I think the rumour mill was that somebody was trying to buy Rangers, but it was a total, like a fraudulent buy, and obviously there's things going on with that.
GB, that's no strictly true. What it was is the fraudulent bit was the paperwork and the information, but even the club have admitted there was an offer, mate.
Aye, but the lassie, well, supposedly the lassie behind it's obviously been up to no good. But no, I don't think it's. For Lassie's interview of the day, it doesn't look as though John Bennett's gone anywhere, and it looks as though the board are fully committed to pushing on with all the areas that they're trying to improve, and I commend them for that. But unfortunately, Rangers is built in trophies, and as much as the board gave off an impression that they'd be quite happy winning a league every other season, and us as fans demand better than that. We demand that we win a title every year. So I don't know. Time will tell.
I think to answer your question, I'll go to Bridgman next, who knows about money. Obviously, as long as you've got shareholdings, you're always up for sale, because somebody can come in and make an offer. So I don't think it's the first, and I don't know about the last person that's come in to try and get involved with the club. Bridgman?
Yeah, I believe there's an offer went in, I suppose it's an American group, and that's been sort of superseded, and somebody says, no, don't worry about it, I've got people over in Hong Kong who are interested in continuing the model we've got now. So whether in fact anything's going to happen, I'm not dead sure. I just wish that whatever's going to happen from shall we say, a board perspective, they get their act together and get it sorted out, because when this next AGM comes up, there are going to be some serious questions asked of them. There will be, seriously, very, very serious questions, because the fans will not tolerate this too much longer. As we've heard tonight, we're only a small cog in the big wheel, and there's a lot of people very upset about what's happening with Rangers, and some of them mystified, like myself, just mystified. I'm a dyed-in-the-wool bear, the same as a lot of you guys here.
I'm on the phone. Sorry, guys.
Go any longer, you're no. Sorry.
I was just going to say, can I just finish? I was just saying that our board and our chief executive, our managing director, Robertson, needs to get the act together, and they can't be sitting telling us weird and wonderful things when we're not seeing them. We're just not seeing them. They're not there. They can't talk fairy tales at the AGM. They'll get blasted.
I think you're always up for sale, but as using Henry's question, provoked you, because there's shareholders involved and people can make offers all the time, isn't they? That's just the system you've got. When somebody comes in and offers enough money and the deal's right, people will sell. Yeah, but I don't think it doesn't look as if the vast majority the people on the board are interested in selling Bob Jarrett?
I'm not a man of finances, you can, Ox, but I would agree with that. I don't think they're for budget.
I suppose when you've got a lot of money, you don't have to worry, Bob Jarrett.
No, well, no, you don't. But there's a lot of people out there pay a lot of money every week for to come and watch a club, and they're wanting better. If you're putting on an entertainment product, you're wanting it to be as good as it can be. And that's their responsibility to do that. I listened to the man's interview today. He said a lot of positive things, but well, let's see the positive thinking now. Let's see it. Let's see it on the park. I can you can't switch anybody on. The name of the game is football, but for God's sake, you've got 55,000 people here every week, Saturday, Wednesday, watching this thing, watching this club. You're wanting you're wanting a product. You're wanting success. We're built on trophies, built on success. We're Rangers. And this is a time some people in high places notice this. I didn't care what's going on behind the scenes with money. I couldn't tell you. I'm not a man of finance. I'm a football man. But I hope it sorts itself out soon. As you say, there's going to be some serious questions after it, doesn't it?
Cheers, Bob. Yeah, always good to hear from you, mate. Always good to hear from you. Well,
always great to be here.
Oh, we've reached that time of the evening. Would you believe that, Bridgeman?
It's actually upsetting because I'm getting my stride here.
Are you? Would you want to go for another hour then? You must
I'll do that in a minute, but the guys want to. They're bored.
You miss his bridge a night off. Well, thanks, Kenny. Thanks, Bob. Yeah, thanks.
Privilege.
Harry, cheers, mate. Good to speak to you, lads.
Cheers, Ox. Yeah, you too.
Cheers, Kenny boy. Cheers, Bob. Cheers. Over to you, GB.
Thanks for having us on tonight, Ox, and a pleasure to be on next to Bridge tonight.
Always a pleasure with you, mate.
Aye, like he says, Ox, we do kind of probably jump the gun a bit. When you're looking at the cold light today, we're only 2 points behind. We're going to an international break. Hopefully we can galvanise and take Hearts on when we come back.
Bridgeman.
Oh, what can I say? By the way, a tremendous show tonight. Really good. Brilliant to be on with, Gary. And can I just say thank you very much to yourself and your technical team. It's been wonderful. Well done to everyone tonight. Really, really entertaining. And I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, don't worry too much about it because we will come out of this. I'm positive sure we will. Keep it going for the Rangers, everyone. Keep it going.
Thanks to everybody who joined us tonight. We didn't know what we were going to talk about, and most of the night was football. I'm sure tomorrow night we'll look at the John Bennett interviews in more depth. Thanks for listening. Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. And thanks to Fox and Old School Blue for taking the technicals. Take it away, Foxy boy.
All his story, the Rangers Football Club, the Rangers Football Club, the Rangers Football Club, the greatest in all history, the Rangers Football Club. A debt we owe, we cannot pay. Those gallant pioneers, a legacy they did bestow, we shared down through the years. To Moses and those fine young lads, our gratitude we'll show. We'll sing our song with heart and voice, and let the whole world know. The Rangers Football Club, the Rangers Football Club, the greatest in all history, the Rangers Football Club. Come join as one and toast to all who share our history. Toast William Struth, a noble man, I'm sure you will.
Rangers Football Club. The Rangers Football Club.